Hello everyone and welcome. Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Big weekend up ahead. Nothing to do. The foot is up in the air. So I will be ploughing through a lot of videos over this coming days. Guys, first one today is about ZIL Zilliqa. First of all, thank you for the massive support that you guys give us. The incredible subscribers flowing in, plowing through to the 5,000 mark. So please do check out our other videos as well. We cover a multitude of various different projects, and we try to do our best to keep on top of some of them on a regular basis as well. But time constraints do sometimes take over on that. But guys, Zilliqa, so obviously a humongous ecosystem that Zilliqa provides. Now, there's a lot of people out there that complain so much about Zilliqa's price not moving and this, that, and the other. Well, my thoughts and opinions around that is to not always focus on the price. Remember, I always say that thing like Jeff Bezos said, irrespective of the price on Amazon's stock market, the project continues, the company continues to develop. And that is exactly what Zilliqa does throughout all of these bear markets, all the bull runs. It continues to aspire itself to higher levels and include more and more projects on its system. And I, for one, am personally holding Zilliqa for a few years' time. Of course, I would like to try and take some advantage of some of the staking rewards that I've done with Zilliqa over the last sort of 12 months, 18 months. And when that time comes, I will let you know when I do start taking some sell positions on Zilliqa. Even when it got to its previous all-time high of, what was it, around 25 cents, I think. I didn't make any moves. I appreciated it was going to come back down, and it was just another opportunity for me to keep accumulating and keep getting the rewards on the staking platform. And it's another opportunity as well, just to keep an eye really out on the developments of the ecosystem moving forward. One of the particular projects I'm just going to focus on very quickly before we go into the ZIL chart is XCAD Network. Now, this is absolutely phenomenal. We do cover another project like Vera Esports, for example, where it's got a whole view to earn mechanism. And this is something that XCAD is really bringing to the table massively, obviously operated on the Zilliqa platform. So what you've got to kind of understand, guys, is it's not just about Zilliqa itself, of what it's capable of doing as its own kind of chain, but also the projects within it. Because obviously the more projects are and the more successful the projects are, the more popular Zilliqa is going to become as a system that is going to be used. So picking out kind of projects like this, like XCAD Network, which is absolutely phenomenal, by the way. I mean, they've got this really cool thing at the moment where creators, maybe I will get one myself, you can actually have your own creator token, and it means that with a plugin, you guys out there that are watching my videos or our videos, and anyone else's that is involved with their own tokenomics within XCAD, will be able to earn XCAD tokens just for viewing things, which is what you're already doing now and getting rewarded in that perspective. And then obviously you can do what you want with them. You can stake them, you can convert them to money, whatever you want to do. And I think that's the way the world is going to go more and more in the future. I see this whole like play to earn and arguably replacing traditional working methods to people just watching stuff or doing activities to earn. Remember Ready Player One with that whole like slave mechanism. I'm not saying we will become slaves, but like it's just generally the way, because there's going to be lack of jobs in 20-30 years time, so you have to have a new whole entire economic system, in my opinion. And I think these are the kind of arguably the foundations being built for that kind of way of life, if you like. So it's really interesting. There's some big top YouTubers out there, particularly in gaming. Some have like over 6 million 7 million subscribers. I mean, that would be a lovely dream to have for our channel one day. I mean, let's get to 10,000 first before we start having those crazy conversations. But with this kind of integration, it helps obviously improve loyalty. It improves things like engagement as well, and it's something for creators to promote. And I just wanted to bring this one to the attention, we'll probably do an XCAD video anyway in general, because I think there's a big announcement today about the plugin being launched or something. But like I said, the catalyst effect, not necessarily saying that 100% it will take a huge effect on the Zilliqa price. I mean, on that note, let's just jump into the chart of that. But what I'm saying is that to keep an eye on not just Zilliqa as its own chain, but like I said, all the things that are coming out project wise on it as well, because it really is a phenomenal system, and clearly some really cool projects are coming in left, right and center to use this. There was another one actually, we'll do a video on it when it's looks a bit better. It was about Bean Terror. So it's this game where you have like these creatures and stuff, you wander around, and it helps you contribute to learning more about climate change and the environment and rewarding you for those activities. But it's not quite fully finished yet, which is why I didn't want to show you properly. But again, another example just in this last week of things being added via the Zilliqa power system. So really cool stuff. But the chart wise, guys, I mean, back to my point earlier, people were saying like, oh, Zilliqa's dead, it's not moving, it's not doing this, it's not doing that. Take yourselves away from that conversation. Like, those that are investing and believe in projects like this and know what it's about will sit here for the long run. These dips and these drops are opportunities to accumulate a fantastic project. I truly think, in my opinion, in the future, Zilliqa could easily be like a $5 to $10 mark, maybe in the 24-25 year bull runs coming, if the cycles go that way. But I think in general, for 3 to 4 years time, that's where I see Zilliqa being around about a $5 coin. Now, currently we've had an all-time high earlier this year, 25 cents. A lot of people were talking about a potential dollar towards the end of the year. I mean, that might be a bit far-fetched. I'd be extremely welcoming a 50 to 70 cent mark, and I do think we can definitely get to that 50 cent mark in the coming bull run in a few months time. But first of all, we just need to get that stability. This is very normal. I don't know why people get so chaotic about their opinions of things being dead and stuff. Well, of course it looks dead because it was up here earlier in the year, and that was only in May time. We've had a nice influx here in September and are way down back to where we are now in December. So I think with a nice rally up, we could take that very easily up to new levels, especially with this kind of pattern. And I think it will smash through 30 and onwards to 50 cents maybe in this, the end of the bull run kind of thing. And we've got to anticipate as well that when we were doing these moves, there weren't a huge amount of sort of resistance and support areas to really test. And we're only really doing that now, in my opinion. We shot through here, but then literally you could count it. Like, there's an area around here with a few touchdowns, of course, but arguably you could say 1, 2 very heavy resistance, of course, 3, 4, 5. I don't think that's enough really to confirm that was a support level. But I think about now, as we're testing this sort of just over the 5 cent region, which was what we touched back here on the 21st July, and we've been doing so quite recently, 3rd of December onwards really, to define this area as support. And what's really encouraging this week so far is we're negative, which has been a consistent narrative of Zilliqa over the last 6 months. But the negative is very low. In my opinion, I think we're about to switch over. I'm not saying in the next couple of days or something, but certainly over the next week or so coming, we can really start to try and engage a more positive momentum for Zilliqa. I'm just going to zoom in to these areas here as well, just so we talk about in a bit more detail as to what I mean by this. So obviously, over this period of time, we've had a few sort of Bitcoin leverage failures and other things going on in the market that brought significant drop downs. People bought up massively here, took us back straight up to around the 7 cent mark very quickly, and we've had a bit of a tail down as people taking profits. Confidence is wearing off again, and we're almost completing a second wave of sell-off here, and very much oversold in my opinion. But look at this on the MACD. Let me just pull this up if I can without messing up the entire chart here. There we go. So the MACD, as you can see, has been very narrowing the last few days. Like I said, I'm not 100% confident it's going to do it definitively in the next few days, but certainly over the next couple of weeks into January, I think we'll see a switch over of Zilliqa. And these areas of purchasing have been phenomenal, especially a few days ago back here. I mean, look at that on the 90-day and the 28-day. Very low in my opinion. And I do, as an investor, like to find these areas of around 40, 35, especially on the longer term RSIs. And this is confirming really this last 3 months movements, because now we're at a lower period and we've obviously tailed up over the last few days in general. even at 45, I'm satisfied personally, and this is not financial advice, but me personally, I'm buying Zilliqa at all these different levels of drops, with bags of different levels, and I'm ready to anticipate that buying on the way up as well, probably up to that 10 cent mark, and then I'll probably stop again, because I think anything under 10 cents for Zilliqa is an absolute bargain. And all these RSI indicators on the 90-day, 28-day, 14-day are quite healthy compared to the way they were about maybe a week ago, but really indicating to me that we're signaling a small, slow switch back to an upside momentum hopefully soon. But more importantly, from an investor's perspective, it's a really good entry level, because you're minimizing the risk of it coming down lower. Obviously, we've already had lower points here on the RSIs, but we're reducing that risk, and there's more momentum to come on the upward trend than there is on the down. So, when we hit these 90 days and the 28 days in this sort of like 45 to 50 region, that's a bit more of a limbo moment, and that's where I see the switch over potentially occurring. And that indicates it will start in this kind of momentum of going green on the weekly, and then obviously the monthly will take maybe a few weeks more to develop a green in that area as well. And then these kind of indicators and performance indicators really push people's psychologically as well. So you've got the organic growth, but you've also got people that just jump on things because it looks green, right? And then before you know it, the momentum kicks in, and we're moving into a bull mechanism. But you're not going to know that until you're definitively hitting higher areas, especially over 10 cents for Zilliqa. So there's plenty of opportunity to keep bagging up Zilliqa, getting it into staking if that's what you want to do as well, get some rewards. So these rewards are obviously free money essentially, and you can utilize those to sell. I mean, you don't even have to sell off your original bags, as it were. And that's what I plan to do, is all the rewards I'm going to be selling, I'm keeping Zilliqa as it is for the next few years. That's just my approach. So that's my thoughts on Zilliqa, guys, and that's where I see it going. I'm not necessarily perhaps anticipating the traditional U shape, as it were, but it's certainly something that will develop a small wave pattern upwards once we can really confirm this area that we're dangling around right now, really looking at that focus point that we saw in July, few touch points trying to magnetize themselves down in May as well, and earlier this year, very early, as in nearly a year ago now, can you believe it? These test areas. If we can do that, I think we're going to have a really strong few months for Zilliqa coming. And I can guarantee to you, once we get to those 10-15 cents levels back up here, people will start jumping in left, right, and center. So that's why I said, when something's boring, when something, the project's good, the ecosystem's phenomenal, but when something looks boring, they're the best times to be purchasing. So that kind of wraps up my philosophy, guys, on Zilliqa right now, what I'm doing with it. Like I said, I'm accumulating as much as I can at these lower levels. So I have big aspirations for Zilliqa, and I think the next few years are going to be phenomenal, and certainly the next few months in terms of price point movements, I think it's going to have a really good ride. Let us know what you think about that in the comments below. We will catch up with Zilliqa next week. Hopefully we might start seeing a bit of a switch over, but traditionally with psychological impacts of Christmas, potential lockdowns and all these things going on around the world, we might just be phasing that into perhaps January or into the end of January, when we may come out of these things in a more positive momentum. So we will catch up with you guys on Zilliqa next week, guys. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye bye.